Hey guys, Bookskin Dave here. You see what you started? Y'all like those obsolete cartridges, forgotten cartridges, and you put me into a spin here where I started loading them. Now I just gotta finish. So what I'm doing, I use this now for case lube. This stuff is really good. It's a Hornady product. It's called One Shot. You spray it on, you let it dry for a few minutes. You can get it inside the case. If you get it in there, it dries. It doesn't hurt the powder or do anything like that. I use that for my lube, case lube. So these ones that I sprayed here, they're the smokeless powder ones. I don't do much to them unless the cartridge outside case starts to really get bad. I just reload them, you know. If they start to get really cruddy on the outside, I'll toss them in the tumbler. Not so with the black powder. What I'll do with these, and I've already done, is I throw these into one of my orange juice jugs that I haven't shot. Cut the top off and I shake it up, put these in there, and then when you get them out, shake them out and I throw them on top of the stove, and that dries the water inside. And then I give them a quick shot with the, well, you can see a little bit of dust coming out of there. Quick shot with this brush, and then I will throw these in the tumbler because they have a lot of crud on the outside from the black powder. So the cartridge prep is a little bit more with the black powder, but it's so much fun to shoot, and it's so cool the way it operates and works that, I don't know. And it seems like these big guns, these big black powder guns, these 90s and 45-70, I guess, has been run pretty good. But your 45 120s and your 50 110s and 50 90s, they just seem to shoot better with black powder. So anyway, I'm going to get these done. I'm going to start loading a few of these. I want to get this stuff kind of finished up so I can get it all out of the way and then start back working on my 58 cal. Unfortunately, I only have so many benches, so I get some of this stuff out here, and I might as well finish it while it's out, and then I can put it away and I'm done with it for a little while. Especially with this, when I'm done with this, I won't have to load again until next winter. There'll be enough here to shoot all summer and stuff like that, and maybe hunt with a little. So anyway, I'm going to finish these, throw them in a tumbler. We'll get over to the loading bench. So after they're cleaned to your satisfaction and lubed, then you want to get the primers out. This will resize them. Now you actually, with straight wall cases, you kind of almost have to resize these twice. The first time you resize them, and I full length resize them, and then the second time you have to open the mouth up a little so the square edge of the big bullet will get started down in there. So I've got, these are already done. I've got these to do. I make about 50 of these a year, and I'll shoot them once in a while in a match, a cowboy match, if it's a smokeless match. And then then I make about 50 or so of the black powder, this size bullet. This is the 420, and I'll use them also in the black powder match. And if I'm going to hunt with it, I kind of like to hunt with the black powder. Anyway, let me get the rest of these done, and then we'll clean out the primer pocket. And so one thing I do with every cartridge I load is clean out the primer pocket. Except pistol, I don't bother on pistol. But any precision or whatever, with this it usually just cleans out the carbon. Most of the time black powder or even that 30-31 doesn't build up enough pressure to swell it. But like in your 308, your 300 Wins, your 338, it'll sometimes swell that brass down there, and you'll see that it'll take a little bit of it off. You probably, if it focuses, probably see the shiny down in the hole. Anyway, I do that with every cartridge. So, and it only takes a second with one of these. So then I got a little primer here. I'll usually use a better quality. This is good. There's nothing wrong with this. This is a Lee. I'll use a little better quality for my high power precision. Use one of these Sinclairs. It presses it just a little more uniformly. For this stuff, and the type of shooting I do, because I'm sure some of them black powder cartridge shooters probably disagree with me, but for the type of shooting I do, this is good enough for priming. So anyway, this one's starting to get old and it sticks a little, maybe just needs cleaned. All right, let me get these primed. We'll go to the next stage. Okay, I've put my expander sizer in. So now, and I've checked the length. You know, if you're shooting them a little hot, you might check the length a little more often to make sure they're the right case length. There's not enough pressure in what I'm doing here to really stretch them, so I only check it every couple of loadings. So anyway, I keep one of my projectiles here. See, that'll start right in there and then it'll crimp down when we're ready. So always check it at least with one, because there's nothing worse than having to do these over again. If that's not expanded right, it will crush the case just about every time. So we're going to expand these, then we'll get some 30-31, and we'll get these loaded up, and then I'll start the whole process over again for those black powder cartridges. However, I'll show you, we use a drop tube to put the black powder in there, so it kind of, when it goes through a 2-foot drop tube, it kind of layers up, you know, and does a really nice job, because you want to get it packed in there as good as you can. Black powder has to be packed, okay? It has to have compression, so it gets it packed in there, so when you put your bullet on, it gets just to the right compaction. I'll finish these. We'll get the 30-31s going, putting the 30-31 powder in here. I get a lot of people a lot of you guys are liking this Forgotten Cartridge series that I'm doing, and I'll continue doing. A lot of people were asking about the 50 caliber, like the 50-90s and the 51-10s and stuff, and I don't have one. I can borrow one from my buddy Muskrat from Muskrat Outdoors, but I will tell you, another buddy of mine, Lever Guns 50, he's also got a channel. He shoots a lot of these big things, and he has a lot of videos already made on shooting these big guns, these big old West guns. So give him a try, Lever Guns 50. Anyway, I'll get these done. I'll see you in a minute. Go have a cup of coffee. Okay. So I've got my scale and my measure for the IMR 30-31. I put one in. I just put this in here. This is my seating die. This is a loaded case. I put it in there, set the seating die so it'll load the exact same way as the ones before. These bullets have a gas check, copper gas check, so that'll sit right in there just fine. Smokeless powder does not have to be compressed, okay? Sometimes it is, depending on the load. This one, you'll be able to hear the powder shaking around in there. There'll probably be about that much space. That's okay. So we put her into the sizing die, set it down, then we need to inspect and make sure that it went down right where we want and it crimped right where we want. And I have a, here we go, and I like to clean it off so I can see what it did. Yep, it's right. It's right on that sizing ring. So I always do that one last time before I set it down. Then I know I didn't put a bullet on an empty case. Okay, so now let's just say we're going to do a black powder. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will get some black powder, 80 grains. I'm going to put 80 grains in here. I could probably get 90 because it's a bit bigger, but I'm going to go with 80. Get my case, and hold on, let me turn you so you can see this drop tube apparatus. So I got my drop tube here at the bottom. I slowly pour the powder in the top, like so. Okay, drop tube's about 24 inches. We'll take a look. Now, I don't need this for upsetting the bullet, I need it for a spacer, so I'll put 2 of them in there. I want 60 thousandths. You have to figure all this out as you go. So I want 60 thousandths for my compression, so it'll all be compressed exactly the same. We set her in here, push it down. Same thing, we inspect it. There we go. So we inspect it. Now this one will have to go in a different box because it's black powder. You won't hear it moving around. And you have to, I try to work off of an eighth. Once you run it through the drop tube, the black powder, you put the bullet on, and when it actually starts compressing the powder, try to work on it between a 1/16 and an 1/8 inch of compression. And then you want to do it the same every time. If you put 2 wads in there, you want to put 2 wads in every time. In my 520 bullets, I only put 1 wad in there, and I get that compression. So you want to try to get that amount of compression. The closer that is to the same, the more accurate your round will be. So I'm going to put that over in my box for that. Anyway, that's it for this time. I'll have all these done so we can get back working on our 58 cal, and I've got a couple more forgotten caliber deals in the works for you. So stay with the channel. I'm glad you stopped by. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye.